Thanks, guys. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Adrian. Congratulations on that convincing 2-0. It was pretty commanding. How's that feel?
It was really good to decisively beat them.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your support pool. I mean, last split, you were saying you had one of the deepest support pools, but you still kind of played those range supports. Now we're finally starting to see something new with that Taric and that Sona. What are your thoughts on that?
Taric and Sona are really strong right now. Like, I feel like the support meta, you can play any champion right now. It's whatever you need for your team. So, like, it's so diverse right now. Like, it's not only range, only melee. So, like, you can play everything.
Oh, very cool. Well, supports, take that home and start practicing some new champs. And what are your thoughts on the status of supports in the league as a whole?
Like, just, what do you mean?
Like all of the other supports in the league. Do you think they're up to your level? Are you the best support? Or what do you think?
I definitely think I'm the best supporter in North America.
Of course. What makes you think that?
Everything. I'm just better at everything.
Of course it is, and he's already got the best trash talk to boot. So next week, you're going to be playing against TSM, the only team to hand Immortals a loss so far this split. We heard from Rainover last week that you started preparing weeks ago. What do you think about it?
I think it's going to be a really close series, and, like, whoever wins that probably is going to win the finals.
Oh, already calling out the whole playoff. So will it be Immortals in the finals?
Hopefully.
All right. Well, Adrian, thank you so much. Congratulations on the 2-0. We're going to send it over to the analyst to break that down.
Thank you very much, Dom. Immortals, another very strong game out of them, pulling out the victory. Of course, as we've mentioned, this split, they seem to be showing a little bit more, trying out a few more picks, moving into the later half of the split, which compared to last time, but where they whip out the Lucian in the semifinals for the first time.
Little awkward.
A lot of that, though, comes with occasional blunders within the games. But specifically do want to talk about that Sona popping up this time around because she was on our patch chart, as well as Talia. She's been played now twice by Pobelter. We had that question mark next to her. I think it's very clear that she is still a strong pick in this meta.
Right. I think this is the kind of situation where Sona, we didn't realize it was actually a hotfix at the time. It's not the hotfix version, so it's even stronger than we initially thought. And you can kind of see it here. It had a huge impact in the game in terms of living when the other supports might not.
Right.
Having the ultimate as well as just the power of the Q in lane, just having that aura up. Yeah. So obviously the Sona pick was extremely strong. And then the rest of the comp, I would say it's not the most standard comp where, like, Rumble wants to ult on top of people for team fights, but Grog wants to split them up. And then you also have Talia looking more for roaming.
Splitting fights, roaming. And
It's a little weird how the whole comp works, I think, but ultimately what's more important is how it fits with their playstyle as Immortals, where they want to just have a bunch of fights. If they want things that are strong into the other enemy picks, and Rumble and Tanar is a good one. So it was a little bit maybe more lane focused.
Right, exactly. And yeah, just to clarify, Sona 614 is hotfixed on live. That hotfix is not in on the tournament realm, so she's sitting at full 614 power currently, which does make her very much a strong pick in the game. She probably still would be even with the hotfix, but diving into the actual game elements of it and how these champions played out, we did see once we've swapped back into standard lanes, Ashe Sona pressure on the lane was basically keeping that Karma Jhin locked under turret the entire game.
You see that, like, little blip of blue right there? That's like that first blood.
Right.
And then
Right
when they swap back, it's pretty even. But then from there, the Sona just kind of constantly had NRG's bot lane pushed in, and Immortals made repeated attempts down there, even if they weren't explicit dives.
Right.
You saw the Gragas come down, it had to be matched by the Rek'Sai, and then eventually they just took the turret from the pressure. It wasn't off a dive, they just took it from basically laning.
Exactly.
And then later in the game, they're going to have a roam that's going to exploit the fact that turret's now down.
Exactly. 15:30 into the game, we get a 2-for-2 trade in the bot lane because the turret is no longer there. So here it is, Pobelter on that Talia starting off the fight, is basically, you know, changing the geography of the map, saying now you can't get back to your second tier turret.
Right, and it's kind of the thing with Pobelter where he seems to end up a little bit ahead of his team. Once again here, had the flash out, but it set up Turtle to start going off in this fight. And that's something that's kind of a theme of the game, was Turtle kind of fighting multiple people at once.
Right.
He's able to pick up 2 kills before ultimately going down to the minions. And then on the other side, you see the Sona and Talia now chasing down other members of NRG. It was a really scrappy fight overall, where just fights all over the map after the initial cutoff attempt had to be flashed out of. It wasn't quite like a clean, like, boom, we're on top of them, they're dead. It was extended.
And it wasn't necessarily the break point in the game, but it did just kind of show how, once again, because of the pressure that they're able to push into the bot lane in that 2v2 and actually take that turret, that play, that Pobelter play, is able to be made. It probably could have been executed cleaner. There are a few other ways that becomes not a 2 for 2, but a 2 for 0. Even still, the thought there behind the strategy in terms of we've chosen a strong bot lane with plenty of sustain that can really pressure a turret down. That's what we get out of it, is now the ability to make plays in that long lane. Moving ahead, though, 21 minutes into the game, this is more of the break open here. 4 for 0 for Immortals on this fight.
No, this is actually the really scrappy one. This is interesting where they try and pick the Sona, and this happened a couple times where you see that the Sona living at really low health. They go over the wall here, and then this is a mistake from Pobelt. He's pretty much in the perfect spot to just stay behind blue wall, slinging spells over. He tries to ult, just right into the Malzahar, suppresses Talia. She goes down, and then Gnar was able to stall out on Immortals backline for a long time, and basically able to make this fight closer than it probably should have been if Pobelt there had stayed over the wall. So it's actually a fairly long chase down sequence that ends up being, I think, 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 because they
this
kill
ended up being 4 for 4.
They kill the Jhin, but the Jhin trades back onto the Rumble. So it was a pretty scrappy fight that started with an engage.
Right.
Should have been turned back around, but a mistake from Pobelter makes it much more even.
Exactly. Once again, probably could have been a larger win for Immortals, but they do scrape by with the 4 for 4. Now I want to push us ahead to the replay I had intended to talk about. 4 for 0 for Immortals, around 28 minutes into the game. This one here in the top lane's also going to net them Baron on the back end.
It's just too many people flanking from the same side from NRG where it allows Immortals kind of escape down to the right. This is once again I was talking about somehow Adrian gets out, lives long enough, is able to keep providing these auras, hits a decent ultimate here to keep GBM on top of the Rumble ult, and then here Quas goes in to finish them off, but can't quite. Same with Santorin, they both get picked off, and then there's basically your front line dead, and they've been chasing on to the rest of the back line. It's a very like scattered fight once that initial engage failed.
I mean, scattered fights, though, it really is just the story of Immortals as a team, because that started out as 3 members being collapsed on by 5, but even still, somehow they and they're on the wrong side of the map, essentially.
Right, like
they managed to
your
come out
80
on top
carry
of it.
is running down the lane towards your own base. That's
Right.
not really how you see most flanks happening. It's usually the 80 carry here, and the tank's coming. And
Right.
it was just a very strange kind of flank situation.
Yeah, but true to Immortals' form, they scrap their way through that fight in a winning fashion, pick up the Baron on the back end of that, and they're able to close out the game. Adrian's going to pick up player of the game here on that Sona, 0, 1, and 11. As we mentioned, just the champion itself, too, playing a role in this, but being able to supply that much pressure in lane, keep people safe.
Right. I mean, you saw on the goal graph, it was pretty much even up until they swapped back and started having that huge pressure advantage in the duo lane. And then from there, they kind of snowballed off that, as well as a number of team fights where he a little clenched, like, oh God, am I going to die? And then just gets out in time and is able to keep providing the aura. So his ability to live in those fights stopped them from being kind of huge wins for NRG.
All right, well, NRG picking up this series in 2-0 fashion. We finished our first series, but there's more league action coming your way. Stay tuned. Apex tries to make some late season moves against Echo Fox when we come back.
Squat frogging again.
Just got the one we look
You have to sit
Simon, can you
sit
do my
on the
shoulders?
chair.
Simon, can you do my shoulders? Oh yeah. I did shoulder this.
Wait. We're gonna have to see if NRG can start playing actively in this game.
Hoodie died and then you went in and
I came in riding like,
and then I came in and then I died.
Restraint out the window! Oh no! They try to go back in on this one. Santorin waits just to the end of the ultimate.
I'm slowly coming.
Oh, he's really low.
I'm just going for wait, Nar's in here.
TP is 3.
Block.
Block.
Tipping.
The Rumble ultimate equalizes the fight for Immortals, and it may be the HP drop they need. That's actually Adrian going down first. Both summoners are gone from him. Santorin getting to the back line. Can he drop them? Oh, GBM actually seismic shoved in. Pobelter starts off the fight on Talia, and they're going to be going in hard on this one. And they are going to keep this very nice record alive. Immortals take down NRG.